So Paul tells us that the crossing of the Red Sea was what?
A baptism.
A baptism into
Moses.
Into Moses.
But when we leave our burden of sin, we have to cross our Red Sea, which is baptism. But we're not baptized into Moses. We're baptized into Christ.
Mm-hmm.
You with me?
Yeah.
When they were baptized into Moses in the Red Sea, where did they go? When they were baptized, when they crossed the Red Sea, where did they go after that?
The promised land.
More and more writers of the Old Testament, whether it is the psalmist or Isaiah or whoever, they are going to make reference, and they always make reference to the Exodus. And that is one of the centralities of the book of Exodus. So here it is. The Exodus is to Israel what the resurrection is to the Christian. All right, I'm going to show you something. And I know that people like Chip, you're going to be fascinated with something like this. Look at Luke, Matthew chapter, Jesus Christ on the Mount of Transfiguration. All right.
17th.
To Jesus Christ on the Mount of Transfiguration. And I think it is my
17th.
Say it again?
17th.
Matthew 17, right. Mm-hmm. Jesus on the on Mount Olives. Sorry, on the Mount of Transfiguration. Jesus is standing on the Mount of Transfiguration. All right? And who does he see? Who does
he sees
Peter,
Moses
James,
and Elijah.
Who do they see?
Moses and Elijah.
Moses and Elijah.
All right, good. He sees Moses and Elijah. Of course, he sees Jesus. Notice that Moses is, I'm going to use a kind of term. Moses is the Exodus man. He didn't see Joseph. He didn't see Abraham. He did not see Lot. He saw Moses. Moses as a representative of the law system. Elijah, the greatest prophet. So Moses, again, this shows how important the book of Exodus is and how Exodus is central to the theme that God is building up in redeeming man. All right, but here is something. That's Matthew chapter. Luke is going to record it in this way. Look at Luke chapter 9. Luke chapter 9. All right, Luke chapter 9, and I want verse, we're going to look at how Luke records the issue of the transfiguration. All right. And I want somebody to read for me verses 28 through to verse 30. All right. And especially verse 31. Yes. Look from verse 28 to verse 31.
Some 8 days after these sayings, he took along Peter and John and James and went up on the mountain to pray. And while he was praying, the appearance of his face became different, and his clothing became white and gleaming. And behold, 2 men were talking with him, and they were Moses and Elijah, who appearing in glory were speaking of his departure, which he was about to accomplish at Jerusalem.
All right. Read verse 32 just for the context of it.
Now Peter and his companions had been overcome with sleep, but when they were fully awake, they saw his glory and the 2 men standing with him.
All right. Verse 31 says, who appeared, that is Moses and Elijah, who appeared in glory and spoke of his departure, which he was about to accomplish at Jerusalem. What are they talking about?
Their
What
resurrection.
is this? What is his departure?
Him leaving.
What is his departure at Jerusalem?
New King James says decease.
His
New King James says decease. His decease.
all right. What does decease mean?
It's about his death.
It is talking about his death. Watch this. But you know what word is used when it says his departure?
Mm-hmm.
His exodus.
Oh, shut it. Yeah. There you go,
He looks at his death as an exodus, as a departure. All right. So this is how central the book of Exodus is. So in the book of Exodus, we have the Passover lamb. Now, in the Passover lamb and the Passover feast, we know in 1 Corinthians 5:7, Jesus is our Passover. But I want us now to merge. Look at Exodus chapter 12 and verse 46. Exodus 12 and verse 46. What's the requirement that one of the Passover lamb?
It is to be eaten in a single house. You are not to bring forth any of the flesh outside of the house, nor are you to break any of its bones.
Was any of Jesus's bones broken? No. No. So Jesus as our Passover lamb, they were supposed to, the bones of the lamb was not supposed to be broken. Jesus's bones were not broken. They were supposed to eat unleavened bread for the Passover. The Christian is not associated with anything that is leavened. It is unleavened. All right. So when they watch this is how important now the book of Exodus is, how central the book of Exodus is to the whole scheme of redemption. I want to show you something. When they crossed over the Red Sea, right? What was Miriam and the children singing? They were singing a song, and it is called the Song of Moses. Right?
Okay.
Not so? Celebrating their victory. They were singing the Song of Moses. Everybody remembers that, right?
I don't remember it.
Everybody remembers that. Okay? Were they singing the Song of Moses? After in Exodus 15, all right? Go to Exodus chapter 15. Because y'all look lost. Do you have anything written on the top of chapter 15? Any writing above Exodus 15? What does
The
it say?
Song of Moses in Israel.
The Song of Moses in Israel. So they were singing the Song of Moses. Revelation tells us that those Christians who are victorious over sin and finally make heaven their home, they will sing what?
Song of Moses.
A new song.
They will sing a new song, but what is that new song called? They will sing the song of Moses and the Lamb.
Moses and the Lamb.
So even in our eternal victory, even when we are getting to heaven and we're singing, we're going to sing about some aspect of Exodus. We're going to be singing the song of Moses and the Lamb. So this is how important the book of Exodus is to the redemption plan and scheme that God has set up. All right? So they are going to sing the song of Moses and the Lamb. You with me? All right. Now here are some things that I want to point out to you. Here are some things that I want to point out to you. Can you, for me, can you plot for me the journey that Israel took to Canaan?
No. I don't believe so.
You can't.
Can you what, brother?
Can you plot Israel's journey from Egypt to the Promised Land? You can't?
I need to be able to.
That is why they call wandering. that is why they call wandering in the wilderness.
They were wandering in the wilderness. All right. Let's see if we can plot their journey. Good. So they are in Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
The next major event for them in Egypt is that they had to cross the Red Sea. Good. When they crossed the Red Sea, they entered into the wilderness. Good. When they left the wilderness and were about to go to Canaan, they had to cross the River Jordan. So it is Egypt, the Red Sea. They crossed. They got they had to cross Jordan, and then they moved into the Promised Land. Right? Everybody with me?
Yes, sir.
So they crossed Israel left Egypt, came to the Red Sea. All right? Now, but here is something else I want to point out to you. Do you know that that is the same journey that you and I are going to take? Ever thought of it? In Egypt, we are in physical bondage. Good? Right? In sin, we are in spiritual bondage. We are enslaved by sin. Just as Pharaoh was a hard taskmaster to the Israelites, Satan is our hard taskmaster. What do you and I need to do to escape the bondage of sin?
Repent.
And
Don't repeat.
okay, all right.
Follow Jesus.
Let me show you something that we had to do. Look at 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verses 1 to 4. First Corinthians chapter 10, verse 1 to 4.
For I do not want you to be unaware, brethren, that our fathers were all under the cloud and all passed through the sea, and all were baptized into Moses in the cloud and in the sea, and all ate the same spiritual food, and all drank the same spiritual drink, for they were drinking from a spiritual rock which followed them, and that rock was Christ.
So, Paul tells us that the crossing of the Red Sea was what?
A baptism.
A baptism into
Moses.
Into Moses.
But when we leave our burden of sin, we have to cross our Red Sea, which is baptism. But we're not baptized into Moses. We're baptized into Christ.
Mm-hmm.
You with me?
Yeah.
When they were baptized into Moses in the Red Sea, where did they go? When they were baptized, when they crossed the Red Sea, where did they go after that?
The promised land.